This one's important, team. Today's the 5-year anniversary of the Abbey Gate disaster during the Afghanistan withdrawal that killed 13 U.S. service members. The whole withdrawal was a nightmare, an epic failure in the first handful of months of the Biden administration. So if anybody out there is itching to criticize Trump's handling of the Iran conflict, hang on, let me just take you back to 2021 and give you some basics on what happened there. This particular military withdrawal was so bad, it not only cost numerous lives, but unwound decades of diplomatic, political, and military efforts to stabilize that region. It all kicked off, of course, after 9/11 with the worthy goal of destroying al-Qaeda and removing the Taliban government that had sheltered Osama bin Laden, and spending then considerable, again, worthwhile time and effort stabilizing the Afghan government and military so they could stand on their own 2 feet and not need us anymore. Just before Biden was inaugurated, Trump had signed the Doha Agreement with the Taliban, saying we'd remove American forces by May of 2021 in exchange for the Taliban promising to prevent terrorist groups from using Afghanistan to threaten the U.S. Enter Joe Biden. All the negotiating had been done. He just had to follow the plan that so many before him had worked hard to get accomplished. He even pushed the withdrawal deadline back to August 31 of 2021. You with me? It did not go well. The Taliban seized control of the country extremely fast, triggering a chaotic evacuation from Kabul. Thousands of Americans and Afghan allies were left behind. You'll remember the horrible footage of people hanging on to those evacuation airplane wings as they took off without them. Thousands of people were packed in and outside of the airport, and one of those entrances was Abbey Gate. They were innocent sitting ducks. U.S. officials had intelligence that ISIS-K, an ISIS affiliate operating in the region, was planning an attack on the airport. Security warnings were increasing, but the evacuation was continuing because the U.S. was racing toward that August 31 deadline to leave Afghanistan. There at Abbey Gate on August 26th, an ISIS-K suicide bomber detonated explosives in the crowd. The Abbey Gate terrorist attack killed 13 U.S. service members and roughly 170 Afghan civilians. Days later, a U.S. drone strike intended to stop another attack mistakenly killed Afghan civilians, 10, including 7 children. The U.S. initially claimed its retaliatory strike was a successful counterterrorism operation when it actually killed innocent civilians. There was intelligence. It all potentially could have been prevented or the damage lessened. The whole thing became one of the worst, most poorly executed withdrawals in history that cost innocent human life. Ultimately, after 20 years of war, an enormous U.S. investment, the Taliban returned to power, making the withdrawal a major political, military, and foreign policy disaster. So today, we remember those 13 U.S. service members, the others who needlessly lost their lives, and their families and loved ones. And as we approach the 25th anniversary of 9/11, let us truly never forget.